The last thing I expected after burying my son was to be betrayed by the woman he once called his wife. I had just lowered my only boy, Daniel, into the earth, when his widow, Clara, turned to me with cold eyes and whispered words that shattered what was left of my grieving heart. "You don't belong here anymore." Her voice was sharp, almost venomous, as though I had no place in the family I helped build, as though decades of love and sacrifice meant nothing. But what she didn't know, what no one in that room knew, was that Daniel had prepared for this moment long before his untimely death. And when the will was read, Clara's smug face crumbled into something I had waited years to see: regret. I was never rich, never powerful, just a simple man who worked as a mechanic all my life. My son, Daniel, was my pride and joy. He grew up watching me fix engines, saving pennies, and dreaming of a better life. And he made it happen. He became a successful architect, bought a beautiful home, and married Clara, a woman who, at first, seemed to adore him. But I had my doubts. Clara wasn't like Daniel. She cared more about appearances than love. She loved the glimmer of wealth, the shine of new things, and the taste of luxury that came with my son's hard work. I often saw the way she looked at me when I visited, like I was a stain on her polished marble floors. Daniel, bless his soul, never noticed. He thought she was perfect. And I stayed quiet, because all I wanted was for my boy to be happy. When he died in a sudden car accident, my world shattered. I thought Clara and I would grieve together, hold each other in the emptiness he left behind. But instead, she turned on me. It was the evening after the funeral. The guests had left. The house was silent, and I was sitting at the kitchen table staring at Daniel's favorite mug. Clara walked in, her heels clicking against the tile like the ticking of a clock. "Henry," she said sharply, "you can't stay here anymore. Daniel's gone, and this is my house now. You'll only drag me down with your sadness." I stared at her, unable to believe what I was hearing. I had given her nothing but kindness. I even lent them money years ago to help with the down payment on that very house. And here she was, tossing me out like old trash. "Your family," I whispered, my throat tight. "Daniel would never want this." Her lips curled into a cruel smile. "Daniel's not here, is he?" That night, I packed my things and went back to my small apartment, the one Daniel used to beg me to leave behind. I sat in the silence, broken, betrayed, and alone. But what Clara didn't know was that Daniel had left a will, and he had left behind more than memories. 2 weeks later, I found myself sitting in a lawyer's office, hands trembling. Clara sat across from me, dressed in black silk with diamond earrings glittering like she hadn't just buried her husband. She carried herself like a queen about to inherit a kingdom. Her eyes flicked toward me, filled with disdain. To her, I was an old man wasting space. The lawyer, Mr. Thompson, cleared his throat and opened the envelope. "This is the last will and testament of Daniel Wright." Clara leaned back in her chair, a smirk playing at her lips. She was certain everything would go to her. The lawyer read Daniel's words. "To my beloved wife, Clara, and to my father, Henry, I leave the following—" Clara straightened, her fingers twitching in anticipation. "I leave my house. To my father." Her smirk vanished. She blinked rapidly, her mouth parting in shock. The lawyer continued, "I leave my savings account and investments to be split equally between Clara and my father." Clara slammed her hand on the table. "What? That money is mine. I was his wife." Mr. Thompson glanced at her calmly. Daniel was very clear in his instructions. I sat frozen, tears filling my eyes. I never expected anything from my boy. I never wanted his money, his house, or his wealth. I only wanted his love, which I already had. But to hear him speak through those words, to know that he remembered me in such a way, it broke me. Clara, however, was unraveling before my eyes. "How could he do this to me?" she hissed, glaring at me as if I had orchestrated it all. But Daniel knew her. He must have known, deep down, what she was capable of. He protected me in death, just as I had protected him in life. I gave him everything, she cried, her voice cracking. Why would he leave it all to him? She spat the word as if I were poison. I stayed silent, but inside I remembered the moments she never saw. The nights Daniel called me for advice when they argued, the weekends he came to the garage just to change a tire with me, saying it reminded him of home, the time he confessed, "Dad, I know Clara loves me, but sometimes I think she loves what I give her more." Daniel had seen her. He had known. After the reading, Clara stormed out, her heels stabbing the floor like daggers. For weeks she tried to fight it, tried to claim the will was unfair. But Daniel's words were ironclad. The house was mine. The savings split. And slowly, Clara's friends disappeared. Without the shine of money and the glow of wealth, she was just another widow, bitter and angry. As for me, I moved into Daniel's house, not because I wanted it, but because it was the last piece of him I could hold on to. I turned his study into a small workshop, keeping his blueprints on the wall just the way he left them. Sometimes I sit on the porch at night, watching the sunset, and I can almost hear him say, "You're not alone, Dad. I've got you. Clara betrayed me when I was at my weakest, but life has a way of revealing truth. My son's love for me went beyond the grave, and in the end, it was her greed that destroyed her. I never sought revenge, never wanted her to suffer. But when I saw her face at the will reading, the shock, the regret, the realization that she had lost everything, I understood something important. The greatest inheritance isn't money, houses, or investments. It's loyalty. It's love. And that's something Clara never had. But I did. Because my son, even in death, chose me.